These are the UK's 10 most useless degrees according to The Guardian. The Guardian did a study at the back end of 2025 assessing the 10 university subjects with the lowest contentment and employment rate in the UK, and here they are. 10th is journalism, 64.8%.
Wow.
I feel like if you want to be a journalist, an apprenticeship's probably a better route. It's one of those industries where you need to get your foot in the door and connections are really important. Uni doesn't necessarily lend itself to that. 9th is sports science, 64.6%. I don't think there are as many jobs in this industry as there are graduates. A lot of people go and study sports science. Yeah, difficult one. 8th is social work. Social workers are people that like go into people's houses when, you know, families are having disputes and there's difficulties with children or whatever. Clearly people don't want to do it anymore. That's got 64.6%. 7th is marketing and PR.
Wow.
I feel increasingly marketing is one of those industries that's being infiltrated by AI. Similar with PR, there just aren't going to be many jobs available in that industry anymore. 6th is criminology. Again, probably just more graduates than there are jobs available. A lot of people do go and study criminology. I've always felt like criminology is a bit of a cop-out. It's like people that are interested in law but don't want to do a law degree, which is fair enough. A law degree sounds difficult, but I don't know if criminology is necessarily the best answer. That's got 63.3%. 5th is media and film studies. If you want to break into the media, there are a lot of companies in the media that have apprenticeships in that industry. Film studies, I just don't see what job you would get with a film studies degree, really. That's got a 61.9% rating. 4th actually surprised me. It's biomed with a 60.9%. I don't know. It seems like there should be more jobs available in that industry, but then I saw a video not too long ago, a guy who graduated from Uni of Nottingham, which is a good Russell Group uni, with a first in biomed, is working as an Uber driver and has been for the 2 years since he graduated. So, you know, an anecdotal example suggests that it probably isn't the best degree to go for. 3rd, sociology and social policy with a 60.6% rating. Again, I don't really see what job you would get with this degree apart from maybe going and working in like the market research industry. It just doesn't seem that employable. 2nd, I didn't really know this was a degree that existed with a 59.4% rating, is hospitality and tourism. If you want to work in hospitality, go and find...
Listen, I got to attack this right now. So this gentleman didn't seem to see the connection, but the same thing he brought up about criminology is the exact same thing many people who know about biomedical science. Biomedical science is one of those degrees that many people study. And I'm not going to say it the way he said it about criminology because law is hard. Well, medicine is a very challenging subject to get into. So what happens a lot of the time when people want to get into medicine and for some reason they don't get into medicine because of how competitive it is, they then go and study biomedical science. So both biomedical science and criminology are kind of, you might call, cop-out degrees. Now, that doesn't mean everybody who goes to study biomedical science is copping out of medicine. And that doesn't mean everyone who goes to study criminology is copping out of law, because a lot of the time that's not the case. What the case actually is medicine and law are so competitive that when a university has more applicants, supply and demand, same thing I'm talking about all the time when it comes to business, when a university has way more applicants for a subject than it can give places, what happens is people get rejected. And in our current day and age, people aren't comfortable with rejection. But what happens when people get rejected is they have to look for another route. And those who are so serious about becoming a medical doctor or so serious about becoming a lawyer look for another route into the same world. And a lot of the time, that other route into the same world is go and do criminology to then later go and do law or an assistive course to top up the law, or go and do biomedical science to later go and do medicine or an assistive course that tops up your biomedical science to get you into medicine. Now, I'm gonna stop there and carry on playing it, but I think this is a crucial key piece of ideology that we need to wrap our head around when people are thinking of studying at university level. I've got my own view on this. I studied 4 degrees. I've got my own view on this, and I'm gonna probably jump in with it in a moment. But yeah, let's just see where we get at number 1 worst degree in the UK. Let's go.
A job in hospitality, they aren't hard to come by, and then just work your way up. You know, if you want to be a restaurant manager, just go and start working in that restaurant and get promoted internally. It's not that infeasible. You don't need a degree for that. It's as simple as that. Similar with tourism, I don't think the jobs in the tourism industry don't require a degree, in my opinion. And then number 1, the worst degree in the UK, according to The Guardian, with a 59% rating,
Makes
is
sense.
business and management. Now, I want to caveat this because if you go to a top uni and you do business and management and you get a few internships and a bit of work experience, you probably will find a grad scheme. It's quite an employable, quite a broad degree. But a lot of people that study this just go to sort of a terrible uni to go and party for 3 years, and so they have a relatively easy degree, because it is an easier degree than a lot of other degrees. But if you apply yourself at a decent uni, it isn't as bad as this survey probably suggests. Now, this isn't my personal opinion. This is just a survey that I've read. If you're doing any of these degrees, don't take offense, but maybe rethink your path.
I disagree. I disagree with the last part. I disagree with the worst one, the business management. And I think if we look into the statistics, what we'll find is that my disagreement is probably quite well founded. I think it doesn't matter what university you go to. Most likely all 10 of those degree subjects are still all going to be problematic long term. I think the only difference, which the gentleman alluded to, which I think is actually worth a honorable mention, is the fact that if you go to a top tier university, you have better networking opportunities. And not only that, one of the things I discovered when I studied my first master's, which was my master's in statistics, is there are many employers who are hiring you. Okay. And a close friend of mine actually told me this. So it's not just my practical experience, but I was also told this by a high level law, not only graduate, but a high level lawyer and partner in a law firm. I believe he made partner at the time he was telling me this. Some people like to just hire what they call the old boys, or people from the old boys school. What does that mean? That means if you graduate from Oxford with a degree in English, you're getting that job in the finance department, right? If you graduated from Cambridge with a degree in political science, you're still getting that job as an investment banker. Now, the reality is, those of us who know actually know. We know that the game is stacked against certain people. So what that basically means is, when you start actually uncovering the way things work, you realize it don't work the way people think it works. The reason why, the incentive and benefit of going to a top tier university and still studying any of these 10 subjects, which apparently are the worst degrees in the UK, is not because, oh, you went to Cambridge, oh, you went to Oxford, therefore, no, it's because there's a brand associated with Cambridge, there's a brand associated with Oxford, there's a brand associated with LSE, Imperial, UCL, and whatever other top ranking universities we have in the UK, and the same in the United States, whether it be Stanford, MIT, etc., Harvard, right? There are brands associated with these universities, and the branding is one of the things that can be of value to you even more than the content or the context in which you studied whatever subject you went through. So that's the first thing I want to share. Now, my view on this, I don't know if I can just throw this out there. Maybe I'm being too bold, but I'm going to do it. Just study maths, right? Just study maths. I haven't seen the same study done at the tail end of 2025, but I am close to confident that if you go and look at that study, you will find that people that study subjects that are mathematical or math related, and I get it. I already hear it coming through the interwebs. Samuel, I wasn't good at maths at school. Samuel, I can't do maths. Samuel, my children aren't going to do maths. They're not good at maths. Let me tell you something. There is a conspiracy active in the UK. I don't know about other places. I'm going to talk about in the UK. I know this because I used to be a teacher trainer, teaching teachers how to teach. I used to be a secondary and A-level math teacher. I'm telling you this. If you don't want to take it from someone who doesn't know, take it from someone who knows, okay, please. There is a conspiracy in this country to make people non-mathematical, right? Now, I'm going to try and do something here that I didn't plan to do, but I'm going to try and do it. I'm going to try and give you 5 reasons why you should get your children, your children's children, your lineage, if they're going to go to university, to study maths or a math-related subject, right? Now, this is not because, oh, I love maths. Like, if we're talking about passion, let's throw passion out the window right now, because degrees based on passion don't get you paid, okay? Everyone should know that, right? And I'm not even a big proponent of getting paid using a degree anyway. But if that's the path you're going down, you might as well at least know how it works so you can do it properly. So let's start with this. The first one is this. Mathematics is one of the only subjects, it's not the, but it's one of the only subjects which is discovered and not made up, right? What does that mean? That means All the maths we know, we've discovered it. We found it. We're actually interpreting relationships. That's what mathematics is, right? So you can think of maths like another language, like a modern foreign language, okay? So the same way people go to university and learn French or learn Spanish or learn Latin, right? Maybe not Latin because it's not a modern foreign language, but the same way people go to university and learn these languages, okay, and come out of university with degrees in these languages, which 9 times out of 10, you know, it might have been more valuable for you to just learn the language and not necessarily get a degree in the language, but I digress. The same way you get the language with mathematics, you're discovering a language, you're learning a language, something that was discovered, not made up. Now, languages, a lot of the modern foreign languages were actually made up, but maths is not made up, it's discovered, right? So that's one thing. Now, what does that mean? That means that the overarching majority of mathematics is objective. So you can actually have a better experience of learning that. Well, maybe that should be the second reason, all right? Especially because I'm making this up on the spot. Let's go to number 2. Number 1, maths is discovered, it's not made up. That's the first thing. That's why you should study maths or a math-related subject. The second thing is that maths is objective, right? Because by virtue of the fact it's discovered, it's not like Spanish, where if you're in Colombia, they say certain words a certain way, and if you're in Spain, they say the same word a different way, and if you're in Peru, they say the same word. No. There's no subjectivity. There's no historical change over time. Yes, there's development in maths, but maths is objective. So what that means is if you study a math-related subject, not only is it discovered, but it's also objective, which means if you go speak to someone who's 50 years older than you, 60 years older than you, 10 years older than you, they're still going to be able, if they're mathematically inclined, to show you the same constructs in the same way. Now, third one, this is the one that probably is actually of more interest to you. Maths is the only subject that actually underpins finance. Okay, it underpins all financial movement. Now, the reason this is important is because everybody in the world is trying to figure out their finances, even multi-billionaires, even trillionaires. I can say that now, right? And I want you to think about that, right? If even trillionaires are trying to figure out their finances, then surely it's incumbent upon all of us to equip ourselves with an ability to have at least a rudimentary level of understanding of finances. And I believe that everyone has their best shot at doing that by studying finance or a finance related subject, specifically by studying maths, right? Or a math related subject. So again, it don't have to be finance. You don't have to study finance, right? I studied statistics, okay? And I even studied the computing and statistics. I even did a joint major. So look, there's the cheat code, right? There's the cheat code for you. Even if you feel uncomfortable studying a math related subject, go study what you want to study and make sure it's a joint major. And the second part of that degree is something mathematical, okay? Because that's going to be the leverage, right? So there's 3 so far. First one, it's discovered, it's not made up. Second one, it's objective, so you're going to be able to learn it. The third one, I don't know if I gave you the third one. Who knows? If I didn't, here's a new third one. The third one is mathematical subjects instinctively make other people think you are more intelligent than them, okay? And in a world where you are looking for leverage, that is one of the greatest leverages you can have, okay? If you're working with someone and they think you're intelligent, let's say that person's confident. Because they're confident, they don't necessarily think you're more intelligent than them. That's fine, right? But because you studied maths or a math-related subject, they think you are at least as competent or as intelligent as them. That is a leverage lever you have, right? So that's the third one. You get leverage because people instinctively think people that study maths are more intelligent. I did give you a third one before. The third one, which is now, well, the third one that I gave you was that it underpins finance, right? So we've got the first one. First reason you should study maths or a math related subject, or you should encourage your children if they're going to go to the university route to study math or a math related subject. First reason was maths is discovered, it's not created. Second reason was because it's objective, okay, not subjective. So therefore it's I don't want to use the term it's easier to learn, but it is easier to learn because it's objective, right? Which basically means you can go and study a 50-year-old book on maths and you're still going to get the same precepts that you'd get today, right? So that's the second reason. Third reason is it underpins all aspects of finance, and finance is something everybody's working on. This is why I encourage people to go into real estate. Why would you go into real estate? Because everybody's looking for a house, right? Supply and demand. It's unfairly skewed to advantage you, right? That's the third. Fourth reason is because of the simple fact that, what was the fourth reason I gave? I don't even remember the fourth reason, but the fourth reason I gave is the third reason, which is why I'm finding it hard to remember the fourth reason. But that was the fourth reason. Here's the fifth reason. The fifth reason is the people that we associate as the most intelligent people who have walked on this earth in times past, Albert Einstein, Isaac Newton, right? You say the name, okay? I'll tell you the same game. Every single one of them articulated their super intellectual ideas mathematically. Every single one of them, without fail. Now, the question we should probably be asking ourselves is why? Why did every single person who's gone before us, who's been held as a beacon of intelligence, articulate their ideas mathematically? I'm going to tell you why. Because math was the language used to express their scientific views. Math has long standing. It's only in our most current century or generation where the mainstream world do not articulate their intellectual scientific views mathematically. All right. And I believe that's part of the dumbing down of cultures. But the reality is, an Albert Einstein, an Isaac Newton, these people, these late great men, these late great people that presented the world with groundbreaking changes in ideology were people that did so using mathematics as the linguistic prowess that they used to show this, right? Now, why is that? Part of the reason why is because math was the language used to articulate ideas which were broader than what your mind could just hold on to. So that's what I'm giving you as the fifth one. If you are like me, you're a parent and you think, oh, maybe I will allow my children or encourage my children or send my children to university, or I'm saving up for my child to go to uni at some stage, or my child's already in uni. Get your child to study math or a math related subject. Don't get conned into paying the same for another degree that's going to ultimately be considered as lame. If you got value from this video, let me know your view in the comments below. Side by side with that, you know what to do. Like, comment, and subscribe. Become a part of the tribe. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video. As I always say, remember, small keys open up big doors. Good day. God bless. See you on the next one. Let's go.
Small keys open big doors.